live. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Respect the Craft. This is episode number 208, and I'm joined once again by the hermano. He is the owner of We Are Wrestling. We got Pete Rosado in the building. What's going on, brother? How's everything, man?
You done
Why
with the
doesn't it look like a
buttering up?
smile? What happened?
Where's Lala, Ray?
Wait, is that a?
Where's
Why do
Lala,
you
Ray?
have a
I know
bat?
where you live, Ray. I know where you live, and I have a car. Where's Lala, Ray?
Who
Because if
put
it
you
ain't
up to
me,
this?
Steve Off's gonna break your face tomorrow. Okay, so I'm trying to save you here. Let us know where Lala is, and everything goes back to normal. You go back to being the good hermano. Nobody interrupts your podcast. We make sure your electricity doesn't get cut off. I already called Con Ed. Where is Lala?
She is doing fine. I don't even know where she is. I just know I've been told by an undisclosed source that she's
Oh,
doing great.
undisclosed source.
And she's being fed multiple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing great.
But you know who the source is.
I would not know. That is why the phrase undisclosed.
No, undisclosed means you won't tell us. Doesn't mean you don't know.
No. I've been told by another source who was told by said undisclosed source. So
Well, who's telling you what the undisclosed source said?
Oh, that's the internet, because they keep posting about it and telling me that something's happening with Lala, but I keep seeing she's fine. So I saw the internet let me know. Yeah,
Ray,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Okay, I'm gonna break your legs. I know where you live. Okay.
Come on, Pete. This is
I also know that the elevator in your building is very susceptible to not being working every now and again. And it's very hard for Ray Sanchez to go down the stairs from the 26th floor on a pair of crutches. You're pretty high up there. Okay. So, Ray, you tell your source to go back and tell their source to go back and tell whoever they need to tell to let Lala go.
Can we get back to the nice conversation now? Are you done? Can we promote this great show you have coming up next Friday? Live from St. Helena's. Can we get back to it? Don't call it a comeback. Next Friday, February 2nd.
You may proceed, but I'm watching you, Ray. I know where you live.
Pete, would I lie
You
to
live
you?
in the Brooklyn.
If I now you're gonna call it the Brooklyn too.
Okay.
Again, would I lie to you, Pete? If I knew something, do you think I would? Come on, man. You've sat in this very same apartment that I'm in at this very moment.
This is true.
We've had nice discussions in this very same apartment.
Yeah, your mother has fed me food.
Yes, it's been great.
Yeah.
Here we go. See now you got the cavalry coming in. Got James Gray. Wait, now he's an advocate. Let Lala go. Hey, how's it going, Serena? See, Serena's
Hey,
coming.
Serena, how you doing? I love Serena, Papa Dank. How you doing, guys?
Shout out to them. Oh no, there's Y again. I had this Y a few weeks ago when I held a very nice press conference for Mr. Isaiah Wolf. Now I'm a fraud. Wow, that is insane.
You are a fraud.
How am I a fraud? I'm just a journalist here trying to have a very nice conversation, as we've done in the past. Let Lala go.
It didn't happen in the past.
Wow,
that's right, Eddie. Right, Eddie. Proud to say that for the first time, this next Friday night at the comeback, Eddie Santos will be ringside for the very first time at We Are Wrestling. Very proud to have him there. Also, very proud to have one of the 5 or 6 people, I think that's about it, of people from Brooklyn who I love and respect. Danny Roman ringside at We Are Wrestling. I've known Danny for a very, very long time. We go way back to even before, and this is crazy to say this, even before I really started in the wrestling business. And, to have Danny, to see what he's doing to have him ringside for We Are Wrestling is going to be great.
That is pretty nice. It's gonna be good to see Eddie in person next Friday. But damn, these comments are
Well, listen, you
again.
brought it on yourself. We've had nice conversations
How?
before. Listen, we've had nice conversations before. We've done this a bunch of times. I've been on
And we'll do
celebratory,
multiple of these.
you know, but before
Yep.
you were not involved in such scandalous affairs. You were not an accomplice. Do you understand? Okay. Okay. Do you understand? This can get you 8 to 15 in a federal penitentiary, especially if Lala was taken over state lines. If Lala was transported over state lines by anybody, and you had information about it, you are an accomplice to a federal crime, sir. A federal crime, not a local crime, not a state crime, a federal crime. That's lockup. You know what they do to boys like you with blonde hair and lockup? Listen, I don't know, but I've heard about it, okay?
I have to laugh because again, these false accusations. Last time I checked, this is also a crime to accuse someone and try to have defamation of my said character as a proper and professional journalist.
Oh, we're not
Again,
defaming you as a journalist.
you are though because now you're like
We're
see
defaming. It's not defamation, right? Here's why, right?
we don't need the cop. See, Wolf is right.
Defamation is when you falsely say something about someone with no proof whatsoever, right? That's what defamation.
Where is said proof then? Where
Hold on.
is said proof?
We have proof.
Okay.
We have proof that you have been in contact with people who are privy to the information of Lala's whereabouts. Therein, okay, and you have said this on your own podcast. In fact, 6 minutes ago, right here on this podcast, you stated that you've spoken to sources who also then get information from sources that have information about the whereabouts of Lala. So while you may be 3 or 4 people removed, you are still getting information that is coming directly from the source via a middle person. And because of that, you have admitted to knowing, maybe you may not know Lala's direct whereabouts. You may not. I'll give you that.
I don't. I really do not know.
You may not know directly, right, where Lala is, but what you do know is you do know that someone has been contacting you and giving you information, which you've then been posting online or instigating online. You have done all of that, right? So that's all. At the end of the day, right? This is what happens. And I'm just gonna say this to you, Ray.
Yes.
Did you ever watch HBO?
I have, yes, multiple
Back in
times.
the day?
Yes.
You remember a little show called Oz?
I do actually, yes.
Yeah, that's gonna be you.
Wow. So
And
so I
again,
again
I love you. I love you. It will break my heart. But as my father and my grandfather and even my mother, God rest her soul, would have told me in a situation like this, I'm not gonna like it, and this is going to hurt me, but this is gonna hurt you more.
again, the threats, even this, Matt Awesome. Matt, I was gonna compliment you on the video you had posted a little while ago, and now there's a table and a lariat with my name. That is horrible. That is again, are you done now, Pete? Can we get to the show? Can we talk about that? That's what the people are here for, I would assume. To hear us talk about
Let's talk
again,
about the show.
because we are
We're
we're a little over a week away. We're a little over a week away from Don't Call It a Comeback. Again, this will be live Friday, February 2nd from the beautiful St. Helena's Church. Again, let's get into it.
Live in the Bronx. Where can they catch it, Ray?
That's going to be on Title Match Wrestling Network, correct?
Yes, sir. Title Match Network, the exclusive home of We Are Wrestling content. proud to be able to say that we're on Title Match. And again, you can be anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. If you can't make it to the Bronx that night, you'll sign up for Title Match Wrestling. It's $9.99 for a month. You actually only pay for 3 weeks. They give you a week for free. And if you sign up for a whole year, $99.99, $100, right? And really, you end up getting 2 months free, because if you think about it, $9.99 a month would actually be almost $120 over the course of 12 months. So you get 2 months free, because they only charge you $100 for a year subscription to Title Match. And you don't only have to watch We Are Wrestling content. You get great content from Battle Club Pro. You get great content from AML, great content from Mission Pro Wrestling, Ladies Night Out, WrestleCade content, all the WrestleCade content live on the Title Match Network, as well as hundreds and hundreds of hours of shoot interviews, also to be found on the Title Match Network as well. And as I said, the exclusive home for We Are Wrestling content as well.
There you go. That's awesome to hear. Again, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed today. Link to both the Title Match Wrestling Network and to get your tickets for said show are available in the description down below. Before we get into the card, let's make sure we look at these comments, which I'll regret doing, but let's continue. Don't forget, Miss Adriana on the Backstage Brawl has named Ray, if that's his name, as an account. Wow, Adriana said that. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with Adriana later on. But wow. Now I see, how are you gonna have this man on his show, Pete? Again, I'm just a broadcast journalist. I'm also a correspondent of yours when needed, and he's gonna tell me he's gonna drag me by my mustache through the 5 boroughs. Do you see this, Pete? See, this is.
Listen, you know who else was a journalist?
Who was that?
John Stossel. Remember what happened to John Stossel?
You're not giving me good examples, Pete.
He was a journalist. He was a journalist who. Wait, Ray, I forget. Can we curse on this? No,
yes,
we can't.
You can.
Right?
Yeah, you can. You can.
Okay. You know what happened to John Stossel?
Refresh my memory for the folks at home, please.
He fucked around, and he then promptly found out, courtesy of Dr. D. David Schultz. You, sir, are in the realm of the fucking around. And so if people take it upon themselves to allow you to find out, as they say, you reap whateth thy sow. Speaking of reaping and sowing,
yes,
did you see that promo by Matt Awesome? What, about maybe an hour or so ago, went live on social media, directed right at Jay Bougie.
I did, and perfect. Now we can actually talk about something relevant to this episode. So let us begin.
Segue.
That is a nice segue, and it's about time we have some professionalism. So let us talk about a match that will be happening next Friday, which will feature Jay Bougie and Matt Awesome. And yes, I saw that great promo. I saw Matt's comments. I saw what he had to say, and I can understand where he's coming from. Again, he feels like he almost let himself down. He let the people down by not being able to win your inaugural championship tournament. Losing, unfortunately. Well, again, the effort's unfortunate to Rob Killjoy. Then we get to his return at the 6-train scramble. And unfortunately, that being, as he felt, stolen from him by Jay Bougie. And again, the video shows it. He was possibly seconds away from winning said scramble. But Jay Bougie scouts his opponents. He knows when to pick apart a moment. I can't blame him from trying to get the win and make an impact. Again, this is about getting victories. The record book shows it doesn't say Jay Bougie stole a win. It says Jay Bougie won that scramble. So,
yeah, and you know, definition is chaotic. By definition, you have to have your head on a swivel. And you know, Matt Awesome, he hit that coquito cutter, which has won him countless matches throughout the years. And Jay doing what Jay, taking advantage of the situation. And even Matt said, listen, I don't blame you for what you did, Bougie, I blame you because you stole it from me. You could have stolen it from anybody else, from me. And Bougie knew, you had to think that Bougie knew how special that win would have been for Matt.
And it definitely would have, again, unfortunately, with what happened in this championship tournament, going down like that, to then have this moment where he feels he can get that redemption. But hearing how he spoke, hearing what this match means, where he even was when he filmed said promo, and just the message there. Because there was an interesting tie-in he had, a man we know very well. We've worked
Yes.
with him in the past. We've had many of conversations with said Kony. Matt, we're gonna get Matt. This is what I do, Matt, as a professional journalist. I build to anticipation, Matt. Give me a second. If you would stop threatening me, I would do my job. So we get to him bringing up the King of New York, EC Negro. And again, I feel like in a match like this, it's almost poetic because, and again, I know Matt knows him very well, has had many a conversation, but I feel like when I see what Jay Bougie does in that ring, I see a little bit of a dirty, rotten scoundrel in him. Pete, would you agree?
I'm not going to place that moniker on Jay Bougie because it takes a lot to get there, right? Love him or hate him, EC Negro was a force in professional wrestling. And EC Negro, listen, you either hated him or you loved to hate him. Either way, you were hating the guy. And EC Negro, yes, I will give you this. Jay Bougie has a penchant for talking a big talk, for rubbing people the wrong way with how he walks, how he talks, how he carries himself, right? I know, pulling back the curtain a little bit, I know that the story kind of like on Jay Bougie for much of the time when Jay Bougie was kind of starting to get his fire under him in the New York, New Jersey independent scene was the kid's got a big head, the kid's got an ego, the kid thinks he's bigger than what he is, right? And that was kind of the thing that was said between promoters and people like that and people looking at talent. Because you would look at a guy like Jay Bougie and you're like, oh, listen, he's got a connection with the fans. People love him. He's over, whether it's negative or positive, he's over, right? And yeah, there was still room to grow, right? There was still room to, tinker, get better, which he has done, right? But again, the word going out like among promoters when you would speak amongst themselves would be like, I don't know if he's worth the headache that he brings with him. He doesn't always want to do business with you the way you want to do business. He's got a bit of an ego. He's got a blah, blah, blah. And that kind of trailed behind Jay Bougie a lot of times. And, a lot like EC Negro, you would say the reputation preceded him, right?
It did,
But as I said, you and I know EC Negro to a degree personally, right? We spent a lot of time around EC Negro.
Yep.
And when you get to really know these people on a level outside of professional wrestling, you start to see who they really are. And yeah, Jay Bougie's got a chip on his shoulder because he has a lot to prove. And I understand that because I respect that. You know me, Ray, for a very, very long time. And a lot of the conversations that you and I used to have was about how we were perceived as outsiders. We were perceived as people who didn't come in the right way, who didn't do it the way that everybody before us had to do it, right? We didn't have the hard road to have to, travel that everybody else had to travel before we even got a crumb on the table, let alone our own loaf. We were, there was a lot that was closed off to us because people didn't respect us. People didn't think we belonged. And like you, like myself, like Jay Bougie, we found ways to get through that. And Jay Bougie still has a lot of space to grow. But
definitely does.
Reputation isn't the same. In a really quick way, I will say you are the second most hated person right now, and the only person I would say who is more hated than you. I want to who's in the chat. F whoever it was that tried to get VXS shut down, whoever made that damn phone call, whoever's made phone calls on We Are Wrestling when we debuted in the Bronx, whoever you are, especially if you're the same person, trust me, karma's coming for you. You're trying to take down some good people. That team over at VXS is a bunch of great people trying to do great things, and they don't deserve that kind of bullshit. We Are Wrestling, they deserve it. No company deserves it if they're doing shit the right way, and I know VXS and that team over there definitely doing shit the right way. So, I listen, I hope they slip and fall into a, asbestos infested puddle.
There you go. Shout out to my boy Isaac right there and the whole team at VXS. Definitely looking forward to what they bring. And it's yeah.
Yeah.
So as you were saying though,
listen. Getting to know EC Negro, I haven't seen him in years. I know he's been doing some things in his personal life. He kind of walked away from wrestling on his own terms and things like that. But at the end of the day, he, like his song said, right? He did it his way.
Yep.
Right? Jay Bougie is doing things his way. Is it right? I don't know. Is it wrong? I don't know. The kids on MLW, the kids rolling with Boomaya Fight Club. So
my apologies for interrupting.
Going right.
That's what I was going to say. Sorry to interrupt. It is producing results, though. Because even this, like I said, as much as we can argue the way he got the victory at the previous event might be, again, questionable, but it produced a victory.
Yep.
When they look up your results for your events, it will say Jay Bougie had a victory on that night.
Yes.
So it's one of those where, again, it might not be the best way, but it produces results. And we can't argue that. And again, I know Matt's going to be looking at any way that Bougie might be able to try to take the high road when it comes to February 2nd. So just for Matt in the chat, be prepared, brother. Just be prepared.
Listen, I love Matt like I would love my own brother if I had one, right? Me and Matt go way back. I remember when Matt was trying to break into this business. There are guys, Matt Awesome, Pete Corvus, Mikey Mittens, why am I forgetting? Tommy Salami, all these guys. Like, I remember when these guys were still standing on the other side of the guardrail saying, one day I'm going to be in there. One day I'm going to do that. And all of them have. Matt Awesome, Tommy, Pete, Mike, Mittens has found his own way into wrestling, right? All of us were standing on the other side, made it our business to get here. So I have a lot of respect for the tenacity of Matt Awesome and what he's trying to do in this business. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a question of, will Matt be willing to do the things that he may not want to do, but may have to do in order to get a victory?
This is true. And again, we will find out in a little over a week. That will be next Friday, February 2nd. Don't call it a comeback, but let's keep it going here. Let's go to the comments before we get to the next match I do want to discuss. Good evening. We got the good brother Smiley in the chat. Good evening. Good evening. Why again? Why just why do you have a fake name on you? Who are you? Why? I don't think someone can actually be named Why. Never until this is fixed. We coming for you. I don't like threats. Shout out to the knuckleheads in the building. Yo. Shout out to them. I know it's my bro Toe in the chat. Might as well plug this as well because it has been officially announced the knuckleheads are sponsoring the event right there. You got the knuckleheads with an official sponsor. Also, we got the fam. We got Gigi for the win as an official sponsor for next week. So definitely go check out my fam at the knuckleheads as we have big things coming, including an interview we'll be announcing very soon that Pete might very well be interested in. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Look at this. We have Lucas.
We will announce next week. Starting by Sunday, we will start announcing exactly who or what everybody is sponsoring. So stay tuned to see exactly who the knuckleheads, who Gigi for the win decided to put their stamp on for this show.
Oh, can't wait to hear that. But look at that. We have Lucas Chase in the chat saying February 2nd, Victorium takes over. And Lucas Chase, puts that dog gamble down. Some harsh words. We're definitely going to be talking about that. Well, we'll talk about that right now. Let's finish the comments and we'll talk about that 6-man war. That Shane Fair in the chat. What's going on, Shane? God did. There you go. We got Matt Awesome with the support for VXS to the end. And look at that. We got Nino Cruz in the building. Love the
Hey,
Funko collection. LOL. Oh, wait. What are we talking about?
hey, and it
What's
goes
going on,
this
Nino?
side of the room, Nino. This side of the room, all the way over there. So there's a bunch in
There
here.
you go.
You know,
See, just because Pete was coming on, that's why I decided not to steal his gimmick and have my Funkos. Next podcast, I'll sit back in my nice corner and show off my Funkos. But I'll
listen,
let
if we
Pete
ever
have the shine.
if the gate is ever light at We Are Wrestling, we are highly blessed and favored that the gate has never been light at We Are Wrestling. Thank the gods above for
There you
that
go.
every single day. But if the gate's ever light at We Are Wrestling, we'll just sell raised pops and we'll pay everybody.
Wait. What? What? Wait. Why my pops?
Because
When did
no,
I become? What?
mine's are collector's items.
As are mine. Like I've shown you some. I'm gonna keep going to the comments here. We got Nino Cruz with Chancla Power. There you go. Gotta love that. Hey, we got Big Baby in the building, making my return on February 2nd. Damn, now he's coming after Matt Awesome. Also, fuck Matt Awesome. That's here we go again with Wolf. Hope all your socks got holes in them. Again with my footwear. He did this again at that press conference a few weeks ago. I what the fuck? This chat don't count. Shane, we're getting to the comments. My apologies. I was letting Pete talk. This is what I do here. We let the guest speak first, and then we get to the chat. I got something to prove on this show, and I'm gonna make sure y'all remember my name. We're definitely looking forward to it, Nino. We're definitely looking forward to it. There you go, Shane, realizing it does count. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Lucas Chase would be doing everyone a favor by taking out Gamble. Wow. Dre just coming after everybody today. Here we go. Why are you raw dogging those Funkos? Get some there you go. Pete, I think that was for you because mine are nice
They're
cases.
all in their original boxes. I do have some cases.
You got to get some more cases.
They're all in their original boxes. See, like the Dark Knight Rises Bane.
That is a fire one right there too. That needs a case.
They're all in their cases. You know they're
damn
all
it,
in.
Toe.
There's a couple I don't have in cases, but I mean it's because I didn't get them in cases. Like the OG, the OG DC Martian Manhunter.
That is fire right there.
Beautiful one right here. But I bought that one, was able to get that one legit, but it didn't have a box and stuff. So it's very hard to get a box for some of those OG ones, like
Definitely.
the OG, the OG Green Arrow.
Oh, look at that! That
right
is
there.
that is
Yeah,
insane.
some of these are very, very, very original run. Many of them, as you can see, my Batman stuff just all over here. Got a whole bunch of Batman pins. Actually, you can see a whole bunch of Batman pins. This whole board is Batman pins down there. I'm a huge
gotcha.
Batman guy.
There you go.
Yo, big shout out Brian, the gift. Yo, the gift.
We got the gift in the chat. We'll be
Wanna
seeing you
thank
next Friday. Can't wait.
Listen, all the incredible graphics work that he does, not only for We Are Wrestling, but for everyone. I mean, this young man is out here not only doing original graphics for people, but fixing graphics, doing everything. He really is a gift and such a professional to work with. So awesome, quick turnaround, everything. Thank him for all the great graphics he does for We Are Wrestling, and always great to have him in the building live. Though I'm sure it'll be very heartbreaking for him to leave Florida, because with the weather we're having up here, I'd rather be in Florida.
I also agree with that. So again, thank you, Brian, for everything you do, and my apologies for the weather. But again with my socks. Now Dre says, I hope what's going on, Kyle? How are you doing? Hope everything is well. We got Tony Mark in the chat. Saludos. Hello. What's going on, Tony? What's going on? Let's see. Edge. There you go. We got Team Awesome. There we got your sports show is an official and OG sponsor. We Are Wrestling. There you go. Shout out to the your sports show.
Yes, your sports show. One of, I believe, only about 3 or 4 organizations that have and brands that have every single We Are Wrestling show from day one. The OGs right there. Dre, Tay, Matt have been nothing but awesome with us and great and supporting We Are Wrestling, and it's humbling to see. There's a reason why I consider all of our sponsors to be family, right? We are not in the business of just taking sponsor money and not paying it forward. At the end of the day, it is really all about them making sure they're getting an incredible show experience. We tell all of our talent that if they go out and they cultivate a brand new sponsor for We Are Wrestling, they are getting, a direct 50-50 split of that sponsorship, right? Because they're cultivating that sponsorship of their own footwork, of their own legwork, right? Um, we want to make sure that our talent's taken care of, but our sponsors as well. Every single sponsor gets fully signed and autographed posters at the show, which you can't get unless you purchase them, and then you got to purchase all those autographs. No, you get that huge poster, beautifully designed, with those signatures already on there for you. The only way to get a reserved front row seat is to be a sponsor. Otherwise, you got to get there super duper off. Um, it's super duper early to get a front row seat if it's not already reserved. And as we go up with those packages, more and more things happen. I mean, when we had Jay Lethal in the building, we offered not only a free meet and greet with Jay Lethal, but a photo shoot with Jay Lethal backstage, all that stuff with the Grand Championship package. If you do the Grand Championship sponsor package, you and your brand get to walk out with the Grand Champion to the ring, right? And be there, be ringside for that. Do guest commentary. We have all these different great opportunities for our sponsors, and it really is a way to really tell them thank you for trusting us, for believing in us to help us continue to get to the next level. And when we're able to, when we have those shows where the big names come out and the big stars come out, you're there front row and you're taken care of at every single show.
There you go. You love to hear it. And again, it shows with how the continuous support is there. And look, like Shane says there, anyone can sponsor an event. One off the fact We Are Wrestling returns after event lets you know they're being honored. Definitely so. You love to see it. I love to see that constant support of a great company there. Look at that. Big Baby saying Shane Fair is the GOAT. Really is. Love Shane. Always a pleasure to have on the show. We definitely have to have him back very soon. But let's get into that. Let's talk about that 6-man war. We had Lucas Chase on here earlier, as originally it was announced it would be almost the best way to call it Team Fallout, if you will, as it's the captain himself, Anthony Gamble, paid in full Anthony Gamble, teaming up with the Inner City King, Jorge Santi, and Colossal Mike Law, taking on what was originally scheduled just Lucas Chase and a mystery team. We would later find out it would now be Brick City, and collectively hear what a force that will be in this trios contest. So
Yeah,
talk to
and
us a little bit about this, Pete, how we get to this insane match here next Friday.
listen, this is boiled over from 2021. Sorry,
Okay.
2022, I should say. Sorry, 2022. This is boiled over since 2022. Welcome to the Bronx. The very first show that We Are Wrestling did in the Bronx, there was a singles match on that card, Anthony Gamble versus the Cure, Lucas Chase. Lucas
Gotcha.
Chase, originally from the Bronx, New York, grew up here, never got to wrestle in the Bronx, and was making his home debut for the very first time wrestling at We Are Wrestling. For the not only was he making his debut at We Are Wrestling, but he was making his Bronx hometown debut.
There you go.
Well, Anthony Gamble, who's been with us since show number one. This is a young man who participated in the very first pre-show match in We Are Wrestling history, and since then has been a regular member of the main roster since. He literally came in from the beginning, started from the bottom, and now he is here, right? And that match ended with Anthony Gamble getting a well-earned and well-fought 1-2-3 on Lucas Chase. And Lucas just, it's been eating at him. It's been eating at him ever since. And these two have had some interactions back and forth. And what we saw back in November was a one-on-one match with Lucas Chase and Jorge Santi. And it was very interesting because Lucas Chase actually called me, and this is something that no one really knows. I've never spoken about this. Lucas Chase calls me, I think it was about August.
Okay.
And he says, "Hey man, uh, when are we doing another show? When am I coming back?" And I said, "Actually, we got a show in November. I was about to reach out to you. Are you available?" And he says, "Of course." I said, "Cool. We'll talk once I figure out more information." In September, Lucas calls me. I didn't call Lucas. Lucas calls me, and he says, "Hey, I have this incredible idea." And I said, "Sure. What do you got?" And he says, "You know what I think would be a great match?" He's like, "I would love to face Jorge Santi. That guy's a beast." And I said, "You know what? That sounds like a great idea." So I took it into consideration, and myself and the team said, "Well, hell, that's some good shit." Right? And we decided to do Jorge Santi versus Lucas Chase. Little did I know, this was all machinations by Lucas Chase. This was all set up. Why did he target Jorge Santi? Because he knows about the connection between Jorge Santi and Anthony Gamble, right? And so he comes out and we do this match, and then he
Well,
says,
well, well
"Hey,
then, Pete, my apologies for correcting you here. But I must say the comment. Lucas Chase saying lies. I would never call Santi a beast, anti charisma black hole.
regardless of
Well,
what you think about his charisma, it was Lucas Chase who offered the idea of the matchup." And then he gets the matchup, and then he says, "Hey, you know what? I'll put my blood, sweat, and tears, my BST championship on the line." Mind you, did not get approval from the BST general manager, Cece, that girl Cece, who was sitting front row at the show as my guest. So Cece's sitting front row, like, all right, great. I get to see Lucas Chase perform at a show that I don't got to worry about what he's doing. Only to find out, wait a minute, my title is being defended at this show. And not only that, Lucas Chase came within seconds of losing that championship back in November to Jorge Santi. And then took it upon himself to be offended when Santi told him, "You only beat me by that much." And he decides to go and attack Jorge Santi. Gamble comes out for the save, and it continues again. And, I got to tell you, this match almost didn't happen because Gamble went into business for himself literally a week later. Literally 1 week later, Anthony Gamble goes to Connecticut to BST, to Mega Clash, one of their biggest shows of the year, and involves himself in the main event where Lucas Chase is defending the BST championship in a four-way match. And he cost Lucas Chase that championship. Lucas Chase no longer the BST champion. That honor now on Bobby Buffet. But Anthony Gamble, taking business upon himself, shows up in Connecticut. So me and CC sat down because now this is a problem for both of us. CC and I sat down and we came to an agreement. We said we have to have a plan and we need to be on the same page. And what agreement we came to will be announced live at the show next Friday night, right before the bell rings on Lucas Chase and Victorium versus Gamble, Law, and Santi. Before that bell rings, I and Dat Girl CC will get on the microphone and we will announce what the plan is that we have agreed on. Because the winners of this match are going to have something that both Lucas Chase and Anthony Gamble are both going to sorely want. And I will guarantee you this. After this 6-man tag match is over, we are going to put a very definitive end to this back and forth between Chase and Gamble, one way or another.
Well, then I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that. And we see the comments here. Lucas Chase promising he's dead. Keep a better leash on your boy. The harsh words continue here, but again, next week talking will end. It's all going to be. I'm going to end it all right. Well
And
then,
listen, talk about respect here, right? The lack of respect that both Mike Law and Jorge Santi had for Brick City, calling them the Brick City Boys, right? They
that was their name for
right,
the
but
better
they
part
done
of a
stopped the boys. But it
true.
goes to tell you, Mike Law and Jorge Santi, two guys that I know as pillars of respect,
Definitely, definitely
right?
two men I look up to in this business.
Well, that's good,
So
short. But
we're
Law's
talking
7 feet
about lack of
tall.
respect here on my
I mean,
show.
Law's 7 feet tall. I look up to Mike Law,
You know what? You have that is true. That is true. I
right?
forgot about how colossal Mike Law is. My
Right.
apologies.
But these two men, and to think, Mike Law has only competed on one other We Are Wrestling show. One. And it was the
This is
first
true.
one. The first one. Mike Law was in the what we then called the Style Scramble on the very first show for We Are Wrestling back in August of 2021. Since then, Mike Law's chief duties has been as the head agent and for We Are Wrestling, taking care of all of the needs at We Are Wrestling, helping steer this ship. And there have been multiple times where I've approached Mike Law saying, "Hey, man, I've got a great idea for a match for you. Why don't we have Mike Law wrestle on this show?" And Mike Law has repeatedly told me, "Pete, I just want to be backstage. I just want to do the backstage work. Thank you." But for Mike Law to be putting the tights back on in a We Are Wrestling ring, you know it has to be important. You know there has to be a legit reason, because Mike Law was very okay with being backstage, okay, in the suit and tie. But next Friday, that changes.
I definitely will. And again, to see this alliance, because I know how Mike Law and how the Inner City King are very, at times they're very one-upsmanship with their relationship there. So to see how they'll be as a duo part of this trio is going to be interesting as well next Friday in the Bronx. But from that, let's now go to this, because I feel like we need to talk about this because usually and what gives a nice, just again, clash of styles, now known as the 6-train scramble here, as it will feature Sammy Chaos, Stan Michael, Ben Rutten, Cheapskate, Matt Rivera, Sebastian Cage, and the one called Eden here. And this is definitely a just mixture here of different personas, characters, styles, a lot of chaotic styles as well in there.
Yeah.
And then you have a cheapskate in there who was not too fond of the Bronx. Did you hear what he said, Pete? Like, did you know before booking him that this could be an issue? Because I don't think he likes the Bronx too much.
Well, I didn't know that before we booked him. We asked him if it was okay, and it was great. Everything was fine then. But now, apparently, I don't know what he has against Haagen Dazs.
I don't either. Like it's man. And I had him on the show. He was very nice, but now it just seems like, yeah, not too fond on the Bronx is Matt Rivera. There we go.
He probably eats, he probably eats the Edie's ice cream.
That's I think you got it, Pete. But there we go. We got Oni King in the chat saying my money's on Stan. There you go. Matt Austin saying
Don't be surprised if you see the Oni King showing up one day soon in 2024 in a 6-train scramble.
Ooh, there you go. Sammy's gonna
Somebody
leave
will
with a
have
few
our
body
eye
parts. Well then, we possibly could see that because Sammy does bring that chaos every time she steps into the squared circle, and no less, especially in this matchup right here. But again, you have Eden in there, who unfortunately now, due to the stepping away of Osito, is looking to prove himself even more now as a singles competitor in a match like this, definitely making a statement. You have the lit superstar in there, Sebastian Cage, someone who I know you know very well, Pete,
Yeah.
and has seen that growth of what Sebastian Cage has gone through to now be in this. Talk to us a little bit more about the athletes in this one, in the 6 train scramble.
Yeah, so Eden was in the 6 train scramble in November. Actually, he was in that same scramble that Matt Awesome and Jay Bougie were in, and Eden now coming back for his second scramble, as you said, the abrupt retirement. I guess we could use the word of Osito, and I'm very honored that Osito was able to grace a We Are Wrestling ring at least once. I can tell you that there were plans for Osito moving forward. There were plans to be able to feature some more of Osito and even, Osito and Eden together. September, yes. My months go crazy, right? Um, but, all these things that happen, I'm just glad that we were able to feature Osito, with what we had. But getting back to it, this one's a little interesting because you got Eden, who's already been in one,
Yep.
right? So he kind of has the knowledge of the terrain.
Yep.
Okay. You've got Stan Michael, trying to do what only Anthony Gamble has done before, get from the pre-show to the main roster and making an impact. And in fact, Anthony Gamble did exactly the same thing. Anthony Gamble was on the pre-show, show 1, show 2 was in the Styles Scramble. Right? So Stan Michael kind of like seeing how that works. And Stan's been very, very vocal about his competition. Because ain't nobody here to see you, Otis.
He's definitely have, but again, he backs it up though. Every time he
No, he
does
does.
have comments like this, he does back it up.
Well, you know why,
So
right?
why is that?
Because for Stan Michael, it's all about the mission.
This is true, and that might ruffle some feathers to a certain stimulation that I know, but I digress. Wow. Again, Marcus Marquis in the chat. Just can we stay on the topic of the show, Marcus? This is what we're talking about here. Yeah. He did. He dropped a whole track for the match.
He
Very well
did.
done. Very well done.
I'm almost afraid that if he wins, that he's going to drop a whole album.
He right. just might. He just might, because now, again, that momentum, now being able to prove not only starting in that pre-show, making it to the main show, getting a victory in the kickoff event of the year.
Right.
That's something huge right there.
And then when we talk about Cheapskate Matt Rivera, listen, say what you want about his spending habits, say what you want about his hatred for the Bronx, right? The guy's a champion in multiple promotions, right? The guy knows what he's doing. Okay. He has been in a TNA ring, the OG TNA ring. He has had his stuff critiqued and looked at by some of the best wrestlers of our time. So he's got that in his back pocket, along with a couple of $5 bills that he told everybody he lost. But, listen, Matt Rivera is the kind of man that walks around with $100 bill on the outside of the roll and a whole bunch of ones on the inside, make you think he got a lot of money. But, and he knows Stan Michael very well, right? There's a little bit of inside information there. Now, the lit superstar, he talked about Sebastian Cage, right? Possibly the biggest wild card in this match, because if I can think of a man who's been in more scramble matches than Sebastian Cage in his career, I can't think of him. Right. Nope. And Sebastian Cage is willing to do just about anything. The man is incredible, quick on his feet, high flyer, and that the one thing that's very interesting about Sebastian Cage, when the lights go on, Sebastian Cage always performs. And it's going to be very interesting. I know Sebastian's very, very happy about being able to return back to the Bronx and return to the Bronx to perform. But then you've got Ben Root, who I know has got something to prove. Ben is in a place where he wants to really start to blow up. He really wants to get to that next level. And he knows that there's going to be matches like this that he's going to have to do with him. But I see a lot of potential in the Hype Beast. I see a lot of potential Flynn Rutan. And I would not be surprised if this is not the last. This is definitely not going to be the last time you see him in We Are Wrestling. But I want to talk about Sammy Chaos, the
No, definitely
lone,
so.
the lone woman in this match, right? But this is a woman who is powerful, who is deceptively quick, active, and only has a mind on inflicting pain and punishment. And Sammy already, you can see from what she released on social media, she already knows that she's probably being overlooked by these guys. And I would say, I think that would be a very unwise thing because I think Sammy Chaos can do exactly what her name states and cause a lot of chaos next Friday night in the Bronx when she gets in that ring. And if those boys are not careful, Sammy Chaos is going to put a hurting on one or more of them en route to the 1, 2, 3.
I have to agree there because again, I've seen the growth of Sammy Chaos, seeing just an insane rookie year. What she's been on again, the tear, going through the Fallout system, going through multiple promotions all around, not only the tri-state but going around the U.S. and seeing what she's become as a performer. Definitely, I hope no one is taking her lightly in this because that might be the sleeper pick right there. That might be the shocker. But here we go. Oh, look at that. We got Ben Rutan in the chat here. Everyone in this match is is trash. Damn. But me, my style is endless. My fashion shines bright. Stay fly, stay hype, get it right. Hold on.
We got to work on your
There's Ben
flow,
Rutan for
Ray.
you.
We got to work on your flow, but that was okay.
I just needed to read the comment. Again, anyone that would like to do it better, again, just read it for yourselves. Reading is fundamental, folks. Um But again, looking at the competitors in this one, it is going to be an exciting 6 train scramble, and we are not done. I don't believe we're in halfway done with this card. So let us continue. Let's get this one out of the way because I know the comments that are about to come when I talk about this one, as it will be, well, possibly be, because I'm not sure if this match is even going to take place next Friday. Pete might need a little bit of a card subject to change as we have Prolific as a team of Ruthless Lala and the International American Gangster Isaiah Wolf taking on CMD, the Prince of Camden himself, Deshaun Pratt, and the Newtown Dragon Boom Harden. This one definitely, it promised to be truly an insane match. Finally, a match happening that I feel like has been long awaited for many.
Yeah, it's very interesting to think that, this match has come so close to happening so many different times. And it's happening in the Bronx, neutral turf for everybody, right? It's not Brooklyn, it's not Jersey, it's definitely not like North Philly, almost Jersey, might be Philly. I don't know where I'm at kind of territory. So neutral ground, everybody. And listen, if Lala is not returned, if Lala does not make it to St. Helena's, okay, if she does not make it to St. Helena's in shape to actively compete, Ray, I'm putting you in the ring.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you heard me. If Lala, I'll say it now loud and proud. If Lala is not returned safely and fit for active competition, okay, I'm not going to have Marquis take her place. I'm not going to have Tyree take her place. No, 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 no. There will be a card subject to change because Ray Sanchez will team with Isaiah Wolf to take on CMD.
But did you not just see what he put in the comments a little while ago?
That's all I'm saying.
What? Pete, again, have I not been cordial with you? A nice conversation. I'm not an active competitor. I'm a broadcast journalist.
Hey, Michael Cole got a win at WrestleMania. If he can do it, so can you. I believe in you, Ray.
Do you not see who's across?
I remember the training videos you showed me when you were in the ring with Smiley. I remember the great work you were doing. You could do it again.
Pete, is this funny to you?
It's
Doing
business,
something
right?
like
And Ray,
it's CMD, multiple time tag team champions, multiple companies,
right, and
a
that's why we
veteran
need,
Deshaun.
right, and that's why we need Lala, right? Because Lala needs to be in that match.
I don't know where she is. Do you not understand this?
Listen, well, then you talk to the people who talk to the people that know where she is and make it happen. Because now, Ray, you shall pay the price.
But I'm not the only one involved in this.
So you
What?
admit you're involved. Got him. Got him, ladies and gentlemen. He just said it live in living color. Timestamp that. I'm not the only one involved, thereby saying he is involved. Multiple people involved, but he's one of them. See, Ray? This is what happens. This is what happens. This is what happens.
I
You
thought
just
we were
admitted it,
cool,
Ray.
Pete. I thought
You
we were
admitted
going
it.
to
And
promote.
this is live on YouTube. This is live on Instagram. This is live on Facebook. We've got it. We can cut it. And guess what? That's evidence. No longer defamation of character because you just admitted you're involved. So how are we defaming the character by saying you're involved when you are involved? Ray, you know what? I'll make you a deal.
Okay.
I'll make you a deal, Ray.
Okay.
I'll make you a deal. You can return Lala safe and have Lala return safe and sound, and nothing will happen to you. Or Lala doesn't get returned. And Ray, you know how you're always hitting me up saying, Pete, book me, brother. I've known you for years. Book me.
Serena, why? Why would you help them
Ray, your wish, if Lala is not returned, will be granted. Not only will you have to take Lala's place in that tag team match next Friday night against CMD, but as an added bonus, because I respect the craft, I think it's only right that you have to then, at our next event in April, exact date to be announced next Friday, when we return back to the Bronx in April, Ray, as a man, you are going to have to take your punishment like a man. So, Ray, you will get your wish. If Lala is not returned, if Lala is not fit for active competition, if there is one stray hair out of place on Lala's head, then in April, when we return to St. Helena's, Ray Sanchez, you will be booked. Not for commentary, not for backstage announcing,
But those are my qualifications.
not for pre-show hosting. Ray, you will be booked in a singles match, 1-on-1, against my good friend and a man I look up to immensely, Dan Moff.
The fuck out! What are you talking about, Pete?
Brian, make the graphic, will you
Pete,
please?
I
I'll
am
get
not
you
an
all the
active
details.
competitor. Pete, what are you? What? Did you not see what happened the last time I was around Dan Mov? What?
So
Pete,
listen,
Pete,
you control this. You control the outcome,
I
right?
don't. I don't know where she is.
Okay. Like I said, if she is not returned in time for We Are Wrestling, if a single hair is out of place, if she is not fit for active competition, then Ray, sir, will have to get in the ring in April in the Bronx. You will be booked. You got your wish. You asked me, brother, book me. I'm doing exactly what you said.
I meant for commentary.
But that's not what you said.
I said commentary.
No, you said
I,
book me, brother.
we have discussed this, Pete, multiple times, Pete. I thought Pete, in this same couch, we've talked multiple plans for said company. What,
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing, Pete? Who puts? No, Brian, no, Brian, please. I love your work. It's please, Brian, do not make that graphic, Brian,
And
please.
Henny, when the graphic gets made, can you please make a meme of it?
Please, no, Henny, please, Henny, please, please. I do not want the Se Murió video coming about me after this. Oh my god! Well, I'm not gonna ask. What the, Pete? Why? I thought we were cool, Pete.
Well, we are cool. This isn't personal. I love you. I love you.
So you want me to die in your ring?
This isn't personal. This is business. This is business.
Oh, come on. He has my pick too. From the great Hispanic heritage collages that he.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. And Brian, please put on there if Lala is not returned, right? So put it in there so that way that's in there. We want to make sure that we are within the legal bounds and saying that if Lala is not returned,
Pete,
that then this match will happen.
Pete, is there anything? Come on, Pete. There's got to be another way.
No,
I
the only
can't.
way is you call whoever you got to call and tell them to speak to the people they got to speak to and make sure that Lala is returned safe and sound.
But
And if that doesn't happen in time for We Are Wrestling, not only will you have to take her place next Friday night, February 2nd, but when we return in April, you will have to go one-on-one with Dan Moff. Oh, and by the way, Ray, just to give you a slight advantage, just to help you out, it'll be a no disqualification match.
how is that helping me?
Because you can do whatever you want. You can use tables, you can use chairs, you can use ladders, you can throw a rubber chicken at them, you can help get friends to help.
Do you understand that only helps Dan Moff? Did you not see when O'Shea fought this man? What happened?
I did. I called that match. It's a great match.
Marcus, shut up. What do you mean good call? This is not a good call.
Okay. All right, Ray. You know what? I'll let you choose.
Okay, yeah. Anyone but Mauve.
No, not like that.
Oh.
You can choose. You can choose a no DQ match.
Okay.
Or you can choose match option B.
What's option B?
Lumberjack match.
Do I get to pick the Lumberjacks?
No. We will let the fans pick the Lumberjacks.
How does that help me? Because they're just going to keep me in the ring and not let me run.
You can do what you can do what what's his face what Donald Trump did and sway the election in your favor. Call him up and get some tips and tricks on how to rig the election in your favor, and just like he won in back in for his presidency, you could learn how to win yours. There you go.
See, Matt said it. Moff likes to eat doors. We've seen it. on tape.
Only on days that end in Y.
This is not a lovely idea. Serena, what did I do?
So
Come on,
Ray,
Serena.
Ray,
Uh,
I hope you have learned the lesson that we are all trying to teach you. It is
which
best
is
it is best to not get involved in things that you do not need to be involved in. See, if you had simply hung up the phone, if you have done what we actually tell a large company promoters to do and get off the tweet machine, okay, you would not be in this situation right now. But here you are, and here we are, and we have
this.
to do something about it. And as Lala being a member of my roster, oh, and by the way, cheap plug, also a member of the roster of the man you're going to interview tomorrow night, Steve Off. So who knows? Maybe Steve has some ideas as well.
Uh, uh,
As my lovely girlfriend would say, you play stupid games and you win stupid prizes. This was a very stupid game to play. And so now, just like Big Puss in season 2 of The Sopranos, you are going to win the stupid prize.
but what do you?
I agree. Ray's a great person when he's not involved in shenanigans he has no business being involved in.
Matt, come on, Matt. Do you not just see, Matt? Let's go. We're gonna move on because
Speaking
next,
about O'Shea Edwards,
yeah,
he
let's.
gets a shot at that grand championship next week.
Look at
And
that. Look at the graphic. We got Rob Killjoy. I will give him credit as we move on here. Has been on a tear defending that grand championship across just all through the Carolinas and more.
yep,
Has been defending consecutive defenses and has been successful on every defense. Truly a fighting champion there. But now he might be going against possibly the biggest competitor yet in the big bad kaiju, O'Shea Edwards.
yeah, I mean, listen, Rob Killjoy has defended the title, I believe, close to 20 times already outside of We Are Wrestling across, I mean, 3 or 4 various states
Yep.
Already. We can definitely call We Are Wrestling a United States championship. And hopefully one day we'll be able to call it a world championship. And but like you said, maybe going up against one of his biggest competitors to date in O'Shea Edwards. And O'Shea, talking about earlier, we talked about Jay Bougie, another member of the Boumaye Fight Club. You know, we talked about Jay Bougie having a chip on his shoulder. O'Shea has a really big chip on his shoulder in this match too, because you and I spoke about this. In fact, O'Shea Edwards was originally scheduled to be one of the original members of the Grand Championship tournament.
This is true. This is true.
He was scheduled to compete in the Grand Championship tournament, and unfortunately, due to things outside of our control, O'Shea Edwards was not able to compete in that. I believe he had to make a trip somewhere for some other obligations, and unfortunately could not participate in the tournament that night. And O'Shea has said on multiple occasions, while he respects Rob Killjoy, that grand championship should be O'Shea's. O'Shea Edwards believes 100% that had he been in that grand championship tournament, he, not Rob Killjoy, would right now be We Are Wrestling grand champion. And so he's going to get his chance. He's going to get that chance. But I will say this, Rob Killjoy does have one thing on his resume that O'Shea Edwards does not. You know what that is, Ray?
What is that?
Something that you'll have a chance to do. He has a win over Dan Moff.
I will not have that chance because it's not going to happen, Pete. Stop bringing that up. We moved on.
Rob Killjoy defeated Dan Moff in that semifinal match of the Grand Championship tournament. O'Shea, as you brought up, came oh so close, but ultimately fell to the Bayonne badass, the king of the effing North. And Shane does it the best. Shane Fair, one of the best at, introducing Dan Moff to the ring. So Killjoy's been able to do it. O'Shea hasn't. So that boy has on his resume. But it's going to be very interesting because Killjoy added a little fuel to the fire. I don't know if you saw it just a couple of days ago. Rob Killjoy called O'Shea Edwards. Well, you heard.
Yeah, I saw. We will not repeat because we shall. I don't want to. I don't want to repeat it because I don't want to kaiju to be mad at me as well.
I'm saying you should say
already
that about Dan Moff.
No. Why are you trying to get me?
You do know you're required to cut a promo before the match, so I'm just giving you pointers here.
There will be no match. Stop this, Pete. Please.
Because Lala will be returned safe and sound?
I cannot promise that because I don't know where she is.
So since you can't promise that, I can't promise that there won't be a match with Dan Moff in April. In fact, I'm going to call Dan right after we get off the podcast.
Please don't. Because he has my number and also knows where I live. Wait, what are you doing?
No, nothing.
I'm going to go back to the comments while Pete, again, Marcus with the foul language. The foul language here, Ray fucked around. God. Why? I know a few podcasters. Why? How do you know podcasters? Your name is Why. That might be part of that. Oh my God.
Hey, why? Send those podcasters our way. We will open up a couple of sponsor spots for that match and possibly some other match that we are wrestling. So if they're interested in sponsoring Ray's death match. Ray's match against Dan Moff. They can do that, or they can sponsor another one of the great We Are Wrestling matches.
At least we have a nice comment from Unpopular Review. Thank you for the salutations. Marcus, so Lala will be returned soon. Again, I don't know. I don't know where she is.
So you better find out. You better find out quick.
Wait, so so I'm getting paid for this murder that's gonna happen to me if Dan Moff is in the ring?
Yeah, we will have an envelope for you addressed to order of your mom.
Because
consider it a severance package.
We're gonna move on to a match that I've been looking forward to see, just because when I saw this, it popped me. Because you have two truly just innovators of their craft. Two men that, when we talk about, again, the name of the show, we talk about respect the craft. These two also embody that. When you have a veteran of the game in the good guy, the bad guy, depending on who you ask, in Azrael, taking on again, a true innovator in the torture artist, Prince Ahmed. And
that's the thing right there. You said about his, innovation, untold number of moves that Ahmed just throws out in a match if you've never seen before. It's absolutely incredible. I will say that there is a bit of a dream match every time I watch Prince Ahmed that I think about. And that would be, I think it'd just be one of the coolest matches you'd ever see. Prince Ahmed versus Jason Kincaid.
Ooh. You shouldn't have said that on air.
I have a triple threat version of that. That'd be even better.
Ooh. We'll talk about that off the air. But just again, every time I see Ahmed, just the different holds, maneuvers, whatever he pulls out, it truly, again, it's something unseen.
Yeah.
And it's one of those when you think of the pairings that could happen, but now you add in, again, that veteran of the game in Azrael. Someone who, even with his tenure in the business, his time in the business, has only gotten better like a fine wine, if you will.
Oh, yeah. This is a man who was a 4-time Jersey All-Pro Light Heavyweight Champion, a 2-time Jersey All-Pro tag team champion, a former CZW tag team champion, a two-time CZW tag team champion as well. Has held multiple titles in ECWA and was even the Recombination Wrestling World Heavyweight Champion for 150 days. Right, is the man who defeated Jack Swagger while having the Recombination World Heavyweight Championship. In fact, defeated Jack Swagger in St. Helena's in the Bronx. That was the last time. Well, the second to last time that Azrael was in the Bronx for a wrestling company. He fought Jack Swagger, aka Jake Hager, with the Recombination World Heavyweight Championship on the line, and then the very next show had to face off against Darius Carter. And that began Darius Carter's first reign as BCW World Heavyweight Champion. Darius Carter defeated Azrael in St. Helena's for that championship, and then defeated him in a rematch at WrestleCade that later on that month at Showcase of Champions, Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And that was the last time Azrael was in the Bronx. The last time Azrael was in the Bronx was a high of highs in defeating Jack Swagger and a low of lows in losing Recombination Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship, and now getting to walk back into the same building where both that high and that low happened. And knowing that he wants a bit of redemption, as you said, the veteran in Azrael, you wouldn't even know if I, and I won't say it on air, but if you knew Azrael's age, you wouldn't even think it. The man has the physique of a man half his age. He has the knowledge of a man twice his age. Azrael has forgotten more about professional wrestling than many of us know.
This is very true here when it comes to, again, just even the methods that he brings to that ring, just the whatever he would do to get that W. And again, we talk about the history, a part of just the original Ring of Honor. You talk about just the history and the lineage that comes with Azrael. And again, it's just adds so much more to this match. And what a win for both can be, because again, Azrael returning to the Bronx here, looking to get a W, looking to get an impressive win here at We Are Wrestling. For Ahmed as well, trying to get a much needed win here to kick off the new year.
Yeah, and Ahmed making his debut at We Are Wrestling. This is Ahmed's first appearance in We Are Wrestling. And what a first appearance it is to go up against Azrael. This is going to be a match that, for Prince Ahmed is a big one. But again, Ahmed's such an innovator. A man that's going to, I guarantee you, is going to bust out a maneuver or a hold that I'm not even going to know the name of. Alphonse isn't going to know the name of. Sam Laterna isn't going to know the name of. We're going to be sitting there like, I don't know what that was. That was freaking cool.
And I've had that to happen to me as well when I've been on commentary with him, and just the things he does. And then it's like, just how? Because then it's even difficult to even think, can someone replicate that? That is just the insanity of his style. And this is going to be one, guys. If this alone doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. This is why you have to get your tickets.
Yeah, right. And pre-order your tickets for April as well. If Lala's not returned, we will actually be selling advance tickets at the door next Friday night. If Lala's not returned, we will have advance tickets at the door for the April show, where you'll be able to see Ray go one-on-one with Dan Moff. Again, if Lala is not returned, safe and sound, with not a single hair harmed on her body or head and fit to compete, then we will have those advance tickets on sale. And by the way, we will be selling those tickets that we sell. If the match does happen, we will have 50% of the proceeds go to helping with the funeral planning for. We do want to make sure that we help out in that regard.
Pete, this is not why I thought we were going to have this conversation today. I thought it was going to be a nice previewing the show. And
but we are previewing the show.
But
and we're even previewing the next one.
Pete, we're not doing this again for April. You know this, right? Like, now it's just.
Well, you're not going to promote your own match? Don't tell me you're going to be like a lot of these indie wrestlers that don't promote their own shit.
See, you got me there because now, damn it, Pete. We're gonna move on because
And no, hey, no leg slaps.
I, I don't think I would be able to against Dan Moff. But we'll continue here with a first time ever matchup here. A match that even you said you could not believe this was the first time ever encounter. As you
Yeah,
have Jarrett Diaz going head to head with Dustin Waller here. And this is interesting to see that it hasn't happened anywhere. And I'm surprised, especially with the careers both of these men have had, such young careers still. But again, you look at their resumes and they've done so much in such a short time.
yeah, and they've crossed paths a lot in different promotions. They've been in the same locker rooms a lot of times. And like I said, I was very surprised that this was a first time ever singles match between Waller and Diaz. I will say a bit of a medical update. We are still waiting to hear back from Jared Diaz and his doctors on whether or not Jared Diaz will be medically cleared. Unfortunately, Jared Diaz suffering an unfortunate injury wrestling in Puerto Rico. Injuries are a part of the game. They can happen to anybody. It's just what comes with the territory of being a professional wrestler or wrestling Dan Moff. Unfortunately, a bit of a shoulder injury for Jarrett Diaz. Again, we are waiting to hear back from him and his medical team to make sure that he is okay and cleared for that match against Dustin Waller. We do have a couple of backups in place just in case Jarrett Diaz is not cleared. We are again also having to work with the New York State Athletic Commission and making sure that he is cleared and healthy. But if Jarrett Diaz is cleared and healthy, this match with Dustin Flash Waller is going to be an absolute smoke show. It is going to it's definitely going to be in contention for match of the night. That's for sure. Will also definitely probably be in very stiff competition right now in February for probably one of the best matches of the year.
Definitely so. Again, I hope everything goes well. Hope everything will align to be able to have this match happen next Friday. But if it is able to, definitely going to be a match that it's going to be a tough one to follow. Just seeing what both of these competitors can do, getting to see them in singles competition as well. Both have been very well known as well to be tag team competitors as well. Jarrett, a little more than
Waller is a well-traveled singles competitor.
That is true. I feel like more now his track record is shown more with Miracle Generation or with the Miracle Ones, but people do forget that as well. The whole time in his time at XWA and everything and WXW,
Yeah.
we saw what he could do.
A lot of people don't know this, but because he has again his time with Miracle Generation, with Kylon Kurg, and even with Ichiban as the Miracle Ones, has kind of overshadowed a lot. But he was the BST champion for 671 days. He held that title at BST up in Connecticut. He has been a well-traveled single star, and again, even though the pairing of Miracle Generation has blown up to the stratosphere and beyond, Waller and Diaz both are well-accomplished singles wrestlers, bones in this business as singles wrestlers. And, for Waller, I've seen Waller in tag matches and then I've seen Waller in singles matches, and there's a different fire, right? It's both hot fires, high-level burning fires, right? That white flame. But there's this difference in Waller when he's by himself, when he's sitting there, and it's almost like he wants to remind everyone on just how damn good he is. And that's something that's special.
No, definitely so. And I feel like it's again adding a little bit of that chip because again, like I said, I've gotten to see what he can do in that singles environment, but I feel like for many, they might not be as familiar. They might have that same mentality of, oh, we know him. He's been killing it with Miracle Generation or with the Miracle Ones. I've gotten to call multiple matches of his as a tag team competitor. But people forget he has had again that very extensive career as a single star. We've seen what he can do, and a match like this truly gets to showcase at We Are Wrestling and in the Bronx what both of these men can do in that singles environment, especially Jared Diaz, who is no stranger to the Bronx, no stranger to that singles matches as well. Also stealing Toe's birthday, allegedly. Again, Toe just wanted me to say that. My apologies. I had to bring that up. Um,
Oh, by the
but
way, if you need a new co-host after April, let me know. I'll jump on. We'll put in
again,
memoriam on the bottom. You just let me
can we stop? Can
know
we stop? I will be there after April because nothing will be happening in April. Please, just
because Lala will be returning
again, I
safe and
can't
sound, right?
promise that. You know this. Why would I
So
lie?
you should not be promised. Have you looked into life insurance, Ray? Do you have a good life insurance policy?
I I'm gonna go back to the comments for a sec. I do respect the craft, Marcus. This is why the show is called Respect the Craft. I respect the craft. This is also, I think, the initial comment for when you were telling me if I'm not going to cut a promo for my own match, but
Yes.
I would cut a promo if this said match was happening. It's not going to happen because Pete knows that this can't happen. There's no way Pete in his right mind would put me in the same ring as Dan Moff. This can't happen. There's no graphic being made.
I mean,
Brian is making this
I
graphic.
mean,
This will not be posted
I mean,
anywhere.
listen,
This does not leave this episode.
you're right. In my right mind, I would not do that. But I would also state that in your right mind, you would not have gotten involved in such a heinous situation. So I'm just giving you back the same energy.
But Pete, you have a choice here. You have a choice.
Do I?
Why
So do you. So do you, Ray. So do you.
why again saying, "Hey Ray, how long do you think you can run from Moff?" Uh, I'm not calling Pete a liar. I'm just saying again, Pete is my friend. I would not think he
I
would
am.
want his friend to get hurt.
I wouldn't. I don't want Lala to be hurt. I don't want you to be hurt. But you're involved in a situation that's causing one of my friends to be hurt. And you know what they say, Ray? Hurt people hurt people.
But but again, there has to be something else we can do. I would even go through said table that Toe was talked about before wanting to step into a ring with CMD and or Dan Moff.
I mean, listen, if it makes you feel better, we could set the table up and Moff could
No,
push
that
through
does
the
not
table.
make this better. That makes it worse, actually. Like,
I've heard going through a table is actually easier than, hitting the ring. But hey,
but from
whatever.
Dan Moff, it all hurts. Nothing is gonna be.
Well,
If Dan Moff looks at
like
you
I
the
said,
wrong way, I think it hurts.
it does. But again, you said it yourself, right? Because as a journalist, you said it, right? Everybody's got a choice,
True.
as do
I
you. When this show is over, you have a choice on whether or not you pick up your phone and you make a couple of phone calls and you beg and you plead and you cry and you moan and you sob and you make whatever deals you got to make with whoever these sources are and these people are to make sure that Lala is returned safe and sound, fit to compete, and not a hair on her body out of place. Or you can continue the charade of I know nothing, I don't know who, what, when, where, why, Gamora,
I
none of
don't.
it, right? You can sit here and try to Boy George Karma chameleon your way out of all of this and then pay the price. Again, everyone has choices. But when we talk about choices, when we talk about choices, I have a choice to ask you who do you choose? Who do you choose? Do you choose the man who calls himself the king of the territories, the man who calls himself an uncrowned king, the man who has done it all? Or do you choose number one?
I like the way you're going with this, Pete, because that leaves us with this next match here, as it will be a man who, at your last event, faced the living legend George South. A match that, again, we talked about for it seems like forever, of an idea of putting Darius Carter and George South in the same ring. And to see it come to fruition at We Are Wrestling truly was insane to see. And Darius Carter had that match, and that could have been possibly a swan song. Like that's it. But now we go into Darius Carter going head to head with number one Ichiban.
Yep.
Now, how do we get to this, Pete? Talk us through this matchup right here.
It was very interesting because I was sitting down and I was thinking about, what are some, Darius and I have spoken a bunch of times about, his role as, how he sees himself as the king of the territories. And so the question was, well, who does he, who are the kings in their territories? Who are the people that are the big dogs in their areas? And one of those people is Mr. Number One Ichiban. And so this is going to be a very, very interesting situation when you have a man like Ichiban going one-on-one against Darius Carter, a clash of styles, a major clash of styles. But talk about an interesting situation when you have Darius Carter, who has said that he is going to make it his mission to defeat every single individual who is considered to be the best in their area. And now here stands Ichiban, a man who, a young man who has a 2 out of 3 falls match coming up, right? And is going to have to go up against the challenge of Mr. Darius Carter and do what very few people have been able to do, and that is beat Darius Carter. In fact, Darius Carter has suffered, I believe, only 2 losses in all of We Are Wrestling. Against Trish Adora in our debut show, and against Rob Killjoy in the finals of the We Are Wrestling Grand Championship Tournament. Every other match, Mysterious Q, Brian Keith's Northeast debut, Rob Killjoy, George South, Anthony Gamble, Isaiah Wolf. Right? These are the names of the people that Darius Carter has defeated in a We Are Wrestling ring. And now he sets his sights on Ichiban. And the question I have, win or lose, who's next? Where's the next king or queen coming from? What territory wants to challenge the king of the territories, Mr. Darius Carter? You think you're big, you think you're bad, you think you run your territory? Well, guess what? Come on over to We Are Wrestling and step up to Darius Carter, and we'll see whether or not you truly are the king or queen of your territory.
I love to see it. And again, you talk about those, how impactful those 2 losses, what that puts into the mindset of Darius Carter. Because that makes Darius a very dangerous man. Because he loves to hold gold. Again, we talk about his reigns as champion in previous locations. They're usually very long, very just, again, powerful reigns as said champion.
Yep.
And to be this close, again, coming to the finals to hold your grand championship, it has to eat away at Darius to have been that close. Again, going head to head with George South, I almost feel like for him, it was that stepping stone of one step closer to again being close to a shot at that grand championship. And I feel like he looks the same when it comes to a match like this against Ichiban. And now, again, that leads to what could possibly be next. Could it be someone from the West? Who knows? Maybe, again, we've seen a lot of amazing talent come out of there. A Titus Alexander, possibly. A man that now makes his return finally to the ring, has been around in the West Coast now for maybe a Chris Hero. The names just again.
We are listen. This I'm just gonna lay down the gauntlet right now. This is the challenge. Darius Carter been talked about as one of the best talents in the Northeast. And yet, outside of the incredible work that Ashe is doing, and there has not been a single promotion outside of the Northeast has brought Mr. Darius Carter to their company, into their ring, one of their men or women. It's always somebody has to come to Darius because everybody says, oh my God, he's so great. That there have been top talent at regional companies that have gone back and spoken to their owners and spoken to their bookers and said, hey man, that Darius Carter guy, he's really good. You should bring him in. We could make some money. He'd be great here. And it's always, oh yeah, no, he's great. Yeah. And then guess what? Darius Carter's never there. Darius Carter, okay, a couple of years ago, had to go down to WrestleMania week, okay, and work his way onto some of those cards for WrestleMania week. Why? Darius Carter should have been booked. Hell, I don't understand why Darius Carter. I haven't heard Darius Carter's name being booked for shows happening in Philadelphia for WrestleMania week this year. Darius Carter should be going against all of the top talent. Dare I say, Darius Carter should be on somebody's television show.
I agree with that one.
Until that day comes, We Are Wrestling is throwing the gauntlet down. Darius Carter declares himself the king of the territories. You want that crown? You want to shut him up? You come to us. Or you get your company to bring him out there. Do what nobody else has done. Step up and bring Darius Carter to you. And guess what? Ashe did it. And they brought him in to face the octopus. And what happened? Darius Carter walked out with a win. And later in February, he's going to go right back to Charlotte, North Carolina in a match I can't wait to see. Darius Carter versus Darius Lockhart for the second time. And who knows? Darius Carter may just very well walk out with a victory again. And see, that's what all these territories are afraid of. That they're kings, that they're self-proclaimed queens, that the people that they champion to be the best of their area, Darius Carter will come in and he will chop them down to size. Don't be scared of the test. Don't be scared of the test. Step up to the challenge of the test. And now, if you want to step up, you're going to do it in a We Are Wrestling ring. You're going to come to New York City. You're going to come to the Bronx, and you're going to get in that ring with Mr. Darius Carter, and you're going to show whether or not you are a king or queen of your territory. And when Darius takes your crown, let's see those companies say, we can't bring him in now.
There you go. And look at this. It looks like Marcus Marquis thrown his own name into the hat. Says me when my pectoral is healed. That would be a match right there, especially with the history they have. And then I know. Again, me and Mr. Carter having mutual respect. That would not be happening.
Oh, right? This is great. This is great.
What is great?
Oh, I just got something from Brian.
Brian, why are you not watching our conversation? Also, Smacks, no. Now he's trying to make it worse. Smacks is saying, why not a handicap Ray versus Moff and
I love this. I love this. Ray, you said earlier, card subject to change, right?
Yeah. Yes. Again, I was just saying that because we have to, just so you don't get in trouble for a possible.
Look at this.
Wait. No.
I like this. If Lala is unable to compete, Ray Sanchez.
Brian, why is that a graphic? Brian. What? Oh yeah, I know. Again, I was gonna say, why does he have a picture of me? Well, he does say he's multitasking.
Just let you know, Ray. I'm going to give you a little bit of lead time.
Uh
Give you a
huh.
little bit of lead time here. That graphic
Okay.
will be posted on all of our social medias by tomorrow at noon.
What?
Things have not changed.
What do you want me to do?
Again, we've told you already. We've told you already. If by noon I have not received a text message or I've not received a phone call that everything is done, that graphic will be will go live. And we have the other one as well, but we'll hold on to that one.
What? Why is? How that is not great. No. And Brian, again, you have spoken law into existence. Again, great. Just I was happy to see you next week, Brian. I don't know if I'm so happy anymore. I was gonna see Brian a lot in February. I, who am I gonna? Before we start wrapping this up, we have one final match to discuss, Pete. A match that, again, we had one of the men in this match in the chat earlier, as it will be Jay Lion going head to head with Nino Cruz, with Chris Barton by his side. And this one's interesting
Yep.
because, again, we know Jay Lion, again, that tag team specialist, a man that has been one half of a multiple time tag team championship team in the main event. And then you have Nino Cruz, who him and Chris Barton have been killing it up north. They have been dominating the Canadian scene. Nino Cruz now coming back to the Bronx here. And I know for both, they're coming in hungry. I know Jay Lyon might also be a little more hungrier for a chopped cheese, as he's definitely a fan of those chopped cheeses. And when we get to a match like this, how does this come about, Pete?
So we've been wanting to bring Jay Lyon, the main event, in for a very, very long time, and unfortunately, our schedules weren't able to align.
Okay.
And I reached out once again to main event. In fact, for this show, we wanted to bring the main event in. And unfortunately, he's going to go on a little bit of a well-deserved vacation to spend some time with family during the time of this show. So we were planning to have the main event in tag team action on this show. And again, Midas has been working hard. Main event has been really out there killing the roads, doing what they need to do. So Midas taking a little bit of time away to go spend some time with family, rest and recuperate. And Jay actually said to me, he said, "Hey man, listen, I'm willing to work singles." And I was like, "Are you sure? Like, I know like the tag team has kind of been your bread and butter for a while. Like, I know you're not immune to working singles, but I know it's been a while." And he said, "No, like, listen, I'd love to do it. Plus, it's home." And I was like, "Cool." So called up Chris. By the way, you're saying it wrong. Chris Barton. Called up Chris Barton. And I told him, I said, "Hey, listen, the tag team match has been changed. Midas is going to be on vacation. So it's going to be you and Jay Lyon one-on-one." Not many people know this. I'm going to pull the curtain back on this one. Supposed to be Chris Barton. One. And Chris, he said, all right, cool. And then he called me back an hour later. And he said, "Man, I got one request." I said, "What's up?" He's like, "I would love to work Jay. I think that'd be absolutely great. But I want to give the shot to Nasty Nino Cruz." He's like, "What we've been doing together as Risen Nasty up in Canada at Super Kicked has been absolutely incredible. And I'm really excited for Risen Nasty to be part of the tag team division at We Are Wrestling. But I want Nino to get this one. I want the people to see how good he is because they already know how good I am. I want to give the spot to Nino. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah. I said, okay. And so the match will be Nino, Nasty Nino Cruz, one half of Riz and Nasty, versus Jay Line, one half of the main event. And Chris Barton will be there, right? And I think, for Barton to give that spot up, and how much it means to Barton to have been one of only 3 people to compete on every We Are Wrestling show that we've done since the very beginning. Right? At least he's been a part of it. He didn't actually compete in the very first one.
He's had a part,
a role.
He's had a role, if you will. Yes.
For him to give that spot up and say, no, I want to give it to Nino, that's something big. And it means he has a lot of faith in Nino. I've seen a lot of tape on Risen Nasty. I've spoken with the people up at Super Kicked, and I've got a lot of that footage of what they've been doing up in Canada, and it absolutely is incredible. These 2 men have some chemistry that is, listen, it's chemistry that you see in those rarest of tag teams. It reminds me in a way of that chemistry that you saw between the Freebirds, that chemistry that you saw, when the Von Erich brothers would team up, that chemistry that you saw when Marty and Sean would just clicking. You remember that night that Marty Jannetty came back to Raw for the first time in almost a decade, and him and Sean teamed up in the main event for the tag team. It was the Rockers together for the first time in 15 years or whatever.
Give or take, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and without missing a beat, Marty and Sean were just on it like that. It's that kind of, connection that you see between Barton and Nino. And it's interesting because it's happened so fast. So, we look forward to seeing Riz and Nasty in tag team competition at We Are Wrestling. But it's going to be very interesting to see how Nino goes out there and performs the first time in front of a We Are Wrestling crowd.
Definitely so.
And Jay Line, like I said, Jay Line's at home.
Yep. That is going to have that hometown advantage. And again, it's one to see how that, again, the scenario is going to play out, how this is going to be in that singles match. But we shall see. Again, it is not a first time thing for both of these men to be in the singles competition, but just one where it's been a while. So we shall see what happens next Friday. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if we haven't sold you on this already, I don't know what will, because this is truly going to be a stacked card from top to bottom.
I know. If you haven't yet been sold on this show, here's what will sell you. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, if Ruthless Lala is unable to compete at the show, if Ruthless Lala has not been returned to her rightful place in the world, and if a single hair is ruined on her body, if she is not fit to compete after these days of being kidnapped, then just remember that match with CMD will still happen, but Ray Sanchez will take the place of Ruthless Lala if Lala is not around to do it herself. And then, as we stated earlier, the punishment for Ray will come. The penance will come in April. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have not yet bought your tickets, go to Eventbrite right now. Search up We Are Wrestling. Don't call it a comeback. Get your tickets now. And if you don't want to get them on Eventbrite, don't worry. Tickets will be available at the door. Doors will open at 7 p.m. The show will start at 8 p.m. And Ray, there's one thing I'm really, really proud of this show. I know you saw this post a couple of days ago that I made. There's something I'm really proud of with this show. Outside of Rob Killjoy, who's from Ponds Unknown, Edwards, who's from Baltimore, Maryland, and formerly from the South, and Lala, who is originally from Texas. Outside of those 3 individuals, everybody on this show is from the tri-state area: New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And if you want to throw PA in there, they're from like that eastern seaboard right along the area of Jersey, PA, right?
Okay, fine.
Everybody, it's just really, you know, you and I have spoken about this many, many times.
Definitely.
Sometimes those like hyper local shows that it's just like, really? This is it? I am proud to say that this is a super local show that does not feel like a local show. It's a banger from top to bottom. We went through these matches. These are people that like this is what you want from your local talent, whether it's New York, whether it's Idaho, whether it's Texas, Tennessee, Arizona, wherever. This is the local show that you go to see those people who are going to be on TV one day, who are going to be the people that you're seeing in one of these three-lettered companies, who are going to be the people that you see touring Japan. In fact, our number one contender for the We Are Wrestling Grand Championship just had a lengthy tour of Japan, Janai Kai. She's now the MLW Featherweight Division champion. Like, this is what we mean when we're talking about the hotbed, that local hotbed of independent wrestling, right? If you're just sitting at home watching wrestling on television on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Friday nights, hey, fine. But remember, you can walk out your house, you can go down the block, you can make a 10-minute drive, get on the train a little bit, go somewhere, and I guarantee you there's local independent wrestling that one day you'll be watching those people on TV and you'll wish you said, I wish I'd seen them before then. This is your chance. Next Friday night, February 2nd. It doesn't get more local than this. Everyone on this show is from the tri-state area. There is no one on this show that besides Killjoy, O'Shea, and Lala that would be traveling more than 200 miles from this show. This is a show that's like, hey, they're coming from maybe an hour away. And that's what's so beautiful about this show, because you and I have seen it. You and I have seen those, the local indies, the ones where it's like, hey, we're just gonna get a bunch of people and get whoever, get some $5 guys and get some kids and stuff like that. And it's just like, well, what's going on? Right. But these are those shows, the Pro Wrestling Magics, the Battle Clubs, right? The We Are Wrestlings, the Pro Wrestling R's. There's a couple. I know they're. I think they're taking a little bit of a hiatus, but like the IWAs, the VXSs, the Invictuses, right? When we are, and there's a bunch that I'm missing, and I'm sorry, BST and things that I don't want to, go there. We'll be here all night. But those local companies that are investing in the local talent and bringing you those people that you walk by every day on the street and don't realize that's somebody you're going to see on TV in 3, 4, 5 years, maybe even sooner, bringing those big stars in to help make it so great for the people that come to the shows. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's what I love so much about this show right here. We've had our share of stars come in. Right? We've had our share of names, we've had our share of stars, and I'm blessed every day that we have that opportunity. But I'm even more blessed when we have an opportunity like this one to put on a show where it's like, everybody's real close. And it's still, I will put this show and this card up against any of the shows that we've done. And we've had Jay Lethal in the building. We've had Mercedes Martinez in the building. We've had Sky Blue in the building. We've had Brian Keith in the building. We had, AG Anthony Green in the building. We had all of it. And I would put this card up against any one of those, and I still think it hold up.
There you go. Again, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, get your tickets today with the link in the description down below. Also, if you unfortunately aren't able to make it in person, it will be streamed live on Title Match Wrestling, the exclusive home for We Are Wrestling. If you haven't already, make sure you're following We Are Wrestling, all their social media. Follow them on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at wrestling_we. Follow them on Instagram, We Are Wrestling 1. And again, Pete, thank you so much for joining us here, even though certain things I rather not repeat. And again, is there any, come on, Pete, we're going to talk off the air because there has to be something else I can do to this doesn't have to happen, Pete.
You're right. You're right.
So,
it doesn't have to happen. And that's why I said to you, everybody's got a choice to make in life. This is yours. You are now at the fork in the road. So when we sign off, and like we tell everybody, when we tell them all to respect the craft, you have to now make that choice of looking at your phone and wondering if you're going to make the phone call or not. Call whoever you got to call. Okay. I don't care who it is. You call who you got to call, but you make sure that they know, hey, we need Lala freed. Because if Lala's not freed, if one hair on her body is out of place or hurt, if she is not fit to compete next week at We Are Wrestling, Ray Sanchez is going to have to take her place with Isaiah Wolf against CMD. And not only that, but if Lala's not returned, I don't care if she's returned Saturday morning at 8 a.m. I don't care. If she's not returned in time for next Friday's show, then in April when we return to the Bronx, Ray Sanchez will pay his penance in a pick your poison match against the Bayonne badass Danny Moff.
But these
So again,
options they don't save me either, Pete. It really doesn't. It just.
But you can save Lala right now for 10 cents a day. You can save Lala for the price of a long distance call in 2001. You can save Lala. You can pick up.
I was about to say that's definitely not the price today. Like,
no,
yeah, no.
You can pick up that phone and make a phone call. Look, it's 10 o'clock. It's after 9. You got 3 minutes now, right? You can make the phone call and you can tell whoever you got to tell that things have got to get done, things have got to get fixed, or you pay the price. Because see, here's the thing. I don't know who has her. I don't know where she is. I don't know who's holding her. I don't know any of that. So I can't inflict punishment on them. But I do know that you know.
So you admit you're trying to inflict punishment on your friend.
Because you're involved.
Pete, thank you so much again for joining me. I'll be seeing you next Friday. And again, ladies and gentlemen, be there. Don't call it a comeback. Stacked card from top to bottom. Thank you to the fam over at the Knucklehead Network. Gigi for the win, sponsoring. Thank you to the Knucklehead Network. I'm part of that, Pete. Like I'm part of the Knuckle.
And thank you to all of our sponsors, Smacks NYC, the Your Sports Show, true hardcore wrestling fans from the Bronx. Oh, by the way, before we go, we'll be making a post right now in honor of, one of the hardworking brothers from the Bronx, Anthony. It's his birthday today. And we'll be announcing the match that they are going to be sponsoring next week. Right after I get off the show, we'll be posting that up. But thank you to From the Bronx. Like I said, Smacks NYC, Gigi for the win, the Rising Star podcast, the Big Pop Theory podcast, Go for the Pin Show, Comic Tube, Dirty Heels, the G'd Up Gentlemen. Thank you to every single one of them, whether it was $1, $10 or more. Thank you for sponsoring We Are Wrestling. Thank you for making what we do, bringing wrestling back to the Bronx, possible.
There you go. A lot of great sponsors there. Again, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Pete. As always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft, and
bring Lala home.
See you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody.